recording, starting to record. Yes, here we are. Hey, man.
Hello.
Hello. Happy New Year. Best wishes, all that stuff.
Best wishes to you too. Best wishes to all of you.
I don't think we ever did it this early in the year, so it still counts. We are 9 days in.
True. We need to catch up on that wonderful mic quality from last time, hopefully, man.
I warned you. It should be better now. Should we tell the people you just demolished your laptop?
So setting up for the call, look at how much I care about the podcast. Setting up my call, I was taking out right when I was telling you I'm ready, I'm cleaning off, because I'm smart like that. I'm cleaning off the residue of my conspiracy theory sticker on my camera, and I'm pushing on it with my fingernail. And while I'm typing, I just hear a crack, and I'm like, okay, well, that's good for a Macintosh. That's good. So yeah, that's my baseline. That's my baseline of intelligence for today, man.
Hey, perfect. That's everything we're looking for.
Nice.
It is not as long as between the first and second, I think, half a year now. I think end of the summer, maybe we did another talk.
I think I checked it was 6 months ago or something.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yes. When I went through the video, we talked about the very, very beginnings of the festival.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a bit about the releases that were out then, and what was the main objective for the label in the coming year, I should say. Is it true to say that the release schedule has been pulled back a bit in favor of the festival?
Yes,
because I think everything we talked about is kind of here in the discography. So nothing much happening there.
I pulled back, I scaled back on releases because the festival, now that it's out there, now that it's fully prepared, and we set up all that was necessary, might not come to a shock for people in the promotion business, but me coming in completely new, it took up so much of my time, it took up so much of my free time, money, contacts, contracts especially. And I had to put the label, well, indirectly on the back burner a little bit. So releases were very, very scarce. I think I don't honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I think I released the Anonymous Hands rave tape, and maybe I think when we were talking, I hadn't released the Rain acoustic release yet, probably.
I don't see them pop up on Discog, so I could be behind on some. I think the Evil Colony was the one we talked about most at that time, because Hutchinpit and Oscar were on our minds. So yeah, we are mainly going to talk about the festival, I guess, as the bulk of this one. Yeah, it has come to fruition. I'm not going to say I did not believe you when you first talked about putting on a festival, but it seemed not impossible, but it seemed like a daunting task. It is, when is it? The 1st of March?
It's the 2nd of March.
2nd of March at the New Cross Inn in London.
Exactly.
Have you been to the venue, or have you seen that venue?
No, I haven't actually. It was a lot of friends that recommended it. I will be location testing in a couple of weeks, so I'll be on the spot. But it was the contact I had, which was the most interesting, the most professional, but at the same time, very grassroots, the way we discussed about stuff, the way we discussed about the projects that were going to be on the festival, everything. And it just vibed really well. And what's going to be funny for a lot of people, or not, because, you know, we tend to be entrenched in Instagram drama, but normal people aren't. It's a lefty sort of punkish anarchist space, which completely clashes with what I usually try and push as a label image of the martial, industrial, a bit more militaristic views. And I think that's going to give a very interesting clash of culture and art, which is, as I've always been doing with the label, I like doing a bit of those provocative posts. And I was telling you, it's like, look, guys, I'm coming in your backyard. Why don't you get mad about it and come and see my fest, and I'll buy you a beer? You know, I thought that it was a lot of fun. So location is interesting. I think people will like it. Spacious, very professional, easy access, a lot of fun. And to get back to your thing about the daunting task, I mean, you weren't wrong, man. I went through a ton of doubts myself. couple projects pulling out at the beginning in a very professional way, a couple of projects pulling out when flyers and marketing was already done, which for personal reasons I won't go into too much detail, but you know, people need to know that like in any context, pros, non-pros, coherent, non-coherent.
Yeah.
A lot of learning experiences, man.
I can assume that was the case, because yeah, I wouldn't even know how to start, especially when you're in wherever you are at the moment, and then have to fix it all in England. Yeah. But the lineup is kind of complete. You said you wouldn't go into too much specifics about cancellation. Is there some bands in the beginning that you asked that are not on the bill?
So, on the actual visual identity of the festival, the only one that's not going to be present, unfortunately, because I'm not ashamed. We've talked about this project a lot of times. You know my love for this project. It was very, very. I supported this project. I loved what every single output he had, the identity behind it, and we're obviously talking about modernity. And I am very, very sad to say that modernity won't be playing at my festival, which is a big disappointment. What I will say is that modernity was not only just one of the label's main projects, one of the more respected and main projects, but modernity is actually an in real life friend, as they like to say, you know, an IRL friend. And it's just disappointing all around. I mean, you know, flyers are done, marketing is done. So that's the modernity chapter. There was a couple of other bands that were touted at the beginning, which had to pull out for personal reasons, but without any hard feelings and without any there was supposed to be the first Rain AD live performance.
Okay,
Unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition, but absolutely no problems. This was decided a lot way before the whole marketing shtick happened, all the investment. So much respect. Unfortunately, yes, modernity will be a black stain on the label's let's say evolution, because it was someone I really wanted on the bill. But anything you see on flyers, anything you see me pushing on the Black Occult Fest page, that's everything is locked in. A lot of exciting bands, a lot of exciting projects. If you have any questions or if you want me to talk about them, good people, very coherent. Just all around, I think it's going to be a very, very, very interesting festival with the atmosphere, vibe, and musical proposition that I want to give.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird that he pulled out, because he is. There's one tape that you three are on. I think the 1-800 Babylon, Ludwigism, and then modernity as the pillar of Black Occult. So it's weird to see him pull out. But I know there's something more behind it, so I'm not going to pry and pull. We have enough to talk about.
Yeah,
just these artists alone. Let's run through them a bit, just so people know what to expect. The first one that pops up is 1-800 Babylon and Aesthetic Clots, the ambient collective.
Yeah,
that you're going to do.
So obviously, as people should expect, and as I told people, this festival is exclusively about me. So it's a festival about me. Might not, but well, I am 1-800 Babylon. I don't think that's a secret anymore. And no. I thought that my main objective for this festival is I want to put my friends first. You know, I want to put the people that made the label, and I want to put the people that believed in the label, while also pulling from personal connections, not in a business way, but actual people I know for the black metal aspect. But the whole experimental noise is going to be all of my friends. And I'll get to a little anecdote in a minute. But to start with Aesthetic Cloth and 1-800 Babylon, I thought that it would be interesting to do a set together, because Aesthetic Cloth's very ambient, religious thematics lately. She's been going very heavily into a more sacral type of ambient, a more neoclassical type of ambient, with some darker undertones. And 1-800 Babylon was veering into dark ambient. I think it's a perfect meeting point. Yep. That her and I do this collaborative set, which I'm very, very excited because I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve. I've been doing my live setup, and she's a wonderful artist. I mean, I will always talk well about this person. Really, really one of Black Occult's flagship artists on the label. And that's going to be an amazing well, I hope amazing. Ritual ambient set, a lot of messing around with the power electronics sort of vibe, if you know what I mean, like do it yourself sort of sound boxes, sound capturings, and all this. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So
Is
that's
she
gonna
going?
be the dark ambient one.
Okay. Is she going to go solo also, or do a solo set?
So how the set will work out, as a little bit of a sneak peek, is that the main focus of this set is her.
Yeah.
Her music will be the main focus. So she will be front and center with the actual musical delivery. And as a friend of mine told me, you'll basically be ruining her music. And I'm like,
I wasn't
yes,
going to go there, but
exactly. I'll be there. I'll be doing the most inane, retarded stuff with filters and feedback, and I'll be layering it on top of it. But you can practically consider this an aesthetic cloth set with 1-800 Babylon ruining it.
I'm bringing this. If I don't hear her vocals, I'm putting this in your ear.
I don't know, man. She seems kind of shy. She's like super nervous about it. I don't want to give out too much, but I told her it's like, the people that are going to be at this festival is 80% people who are very familiar with the label, very familiar with the artist, a lot of friends, a lot of inside support. So I think the whole ecosystem is going to be very motivating and uplifting for the artists that are there.
What's the total count when it's sold out?
Oh well, man. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay myself, but it's not going to sell out. I mean, the room is like 350 people.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're closing in on 100, 110, which is wild. I mean, I would have been happy going from 60 to 80, something like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if you see noise and power electronics on the bill, it's probably 4 to 16 people showing up. So.
That's the power electronics people are the artists on the stage. I don't think anyone wants to see that.
Very true. So yeah, that's one big set. I'm looking forward to. Modernity, unfortunately, cancelled. Ludwigism is going to do power electronics pure sets.
No, Ludwigism is going to actually be doing a dark lo-fi gabber set.
Okay.
Yeah, man. That's what I was telling you. The festival is shaping up to be a very interesting cocktail of expressions. Ludwigism is going to be pushing his more gabber, dark tech music. And what I can spoil is that there will be an exclusive festival release on Rave Case from Black Occult, which will be his dark gabber release, very similar to what Aske does with Techno Viking, with Intier and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And then there are three big names, but two smaller builds: the Necro Bloods, which I don't know actually, and then the Wallachus. Let's start at Necro Bloods. Are they UK bands?
So you're saying Necro Ritual?
Sorry, Necro Ritual.
Yeah. That's right.
long day.
Yeah, no, trust me, I get it. Well, the Wallachus is gonna be the surprise entry. So it's gonna be something that people will definitely not expect. That's all I'm going to say. What they can expect is that without downplaying any of the other artists, well, absolutely not, because it's every single project will bring something different.
Mm-hmm.
So if Blood Countess and Necro Ritual bring black metal in the most traditional sense, Ludwigism will bring gabber. I will bring dark ambient, and Will to Power will bring pure power electronics. I want people to try and guess what type of music Wallachus will bring. But what I can guarantee is that people will be bouncing around and jumping around. And the violence and absolute pure nihilistic intent of the band that's going to play is going to be the main pull and the main interest of the night, just out of an originality aspect.
Yeah. No, knowing what I know or don't know, it's interesting for me to what will be present on the stage. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to most. You said something, the Will to
Power.
I don't think it's on the bill, or am I missing it?
No, because since Modernity decided to pull out without giving much reasons, we have to update the which is annoying. I have to update like artwork on flyers, videos. You can understand my frustration, especially when I lock everyone in and these type of little ridiculous dramas pop up.
Okay.
It's a bit disappointing.
We're dancing around, but trust me, I don't want to go into the into that aspect. The will to power, is that the crypto order videos? Is that
so? So Crypto Order, which is another announcement I wanted to do, is that Black Occult will also be working outside of music in the upcoming future. I've decided to also take my label into more visual arts territory, and I've been playing around with it lately. If you noticed, I've got some videos coming out from jCraft, which is a very rural underground visual artist. I got amazing video clips from Crypto Order, and they will be helping me build this, not new necessarily, but going even more into detail of this new visual identity that I want Black Occult to have. And I'll be releasing a ton of promotional videos, not necessarily for releases and all that, but to just to give more than just music, more than just a festival, more than just merch. There will also be visual stuff. There will also be art stuff focused more on art. A more artistic expression. And Crypto Order is not the will to power guy, but
no.
he did the video clip presentation for will to power.
Okay. Will there be some visual art present in the festival side or on the festival side, or yeah?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. We're working out to have more detailed. I'm not light shows. Light shows is not what I'm trying to look for as the term, but in power electronics gigs and noise gigs, a very big aspect of the live is, you know, they have stuff playing on in the background, special type of videos, special type. So we will be doing that. If everything works out with what I'm discussing with the venue, there's going to be a lot more visual stimulation that what someone might expect from a gig.
Okay. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a very interesting one. For me, it's the perfect weekend in London because we're doing Live After Dead first 2 days and then coming over to you. So promises to be interesting. The Necro Bloods, once again, Necro Ritual.
Necro Ritual is gonna is the big name with Blood Countess to bring in the more traditional, because I don't want to forget my roots. You know, I don't want to forget why I'm here. Necro Ritual is very classic, very old school, very brutal black metal. Absolutely amazing people. Had a lot of good times chatting to them. I got to know them thanks to my personal friend in Blood Countess, who tipped me off on them. So I've been going into deep dives with their music, and it's a very road ready band. They've got 20 years of experience. Live, tons and hundreds of live shows. It's going to be an absolute whirlwind. Their music is very textured, very bouncy, it translates perfectly into a live setting. So that's going to be practically the co-headliner in the black metal sense with Blood Countess. I think we're trying to make this logical, won't be a possible word to use, but sort of this build up from a more tranquil to absolute chaos to something that everyone will be able to recognize as sort of grasping air. You know, you've been through 40 minutes of absolute harsh noise, power electronics, and you will come down on this insanely high quality black metal, which is really live ready. I'm super excited for people to see I want people to bring this in as a whole, like a very organic festival. It's the word. I think even in our past episode, I was throwing the word organic around every single second because it's a goal. It's a really big goal.
It was a word of the month back then, so glad to see it's still survived. I don't know them. I have to check because I was assuming they were a newer band. So it's weird that out of all the projects on this bill, I haven't checked out the black metal bands, but that's saying something. Blood Countess is a name that has been thrown around lately. They have been, I think I mainly know them from their social media account, have not checked it out too much or haven't seen them live, but it's female fronted UK black metal, I guess.
Yes, from the north. It's northern UK BM, yeah.
What label are they on? You know?
I think Dominance of Darkness.
Ah, okay.
Dominance of Darkness, I think, releases Blood Countess. Oh, I have a release by Blood Countess coming up, which is what we call an official bootleg. Which is, I'll never understand that term, but you know, it's a live in York, and it's gonna be my one and only return to black metal in terms of releases. But it was the right time. It's been a while. I want to have it ready for the festival. It's a good band. It's a really enticing project, and they've been steamrolling lately. They've been steamrolling. I caught them at the right time. I was telling my friend in the band, I caught you at the right time because now they're playing fests all over Europe. They're going to, I think it's called the Black Hole in Switzerland around
Right.
Aarau. They're playing that. They played Fortress. They're playing a ton of fests, and they're moving around. They went to play in Eastern Europe, and so it's what I call legitimate black metal in the old sense. They're getting known through just grinding out amazing music and going on the road and doing lives. And it's the Black Occult Fest is going to be their only London date, so I'm super proud to be able to vocalize them as headliners.
Yeah. It's a pretty solid lineup. I think official bootleg, to harken back to that, is that you just put a little less effort in the sleeve than usual.
I guess. And even then, I think my visual artist did an amazing job to actually make it look pro. Even though I keep on telling me, can you make it look less pro? Can you make it look a bit more dirty? Can we do it? It's but you know, to each his own. I think it works. It works fine. They're releasing a whole series of live tapes. One is through me. One is through Iron Winter, which is a collaborative release with me. Obscure Blasphemy is doing another one. So they're giving out their lives to some smaller bands to be able to build up even more of a community. And I think it's a great preparation for the festival.
So ballsy thing to do, just nilly-willy give your live sets. That means that they are very confident in how they are playing live, how they're sounding live. Stacked lineup. Is there something that is not on the bill that you are willing to share that's maybe happening or not happening? Just a yes or a no is also good.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint you, but there's a couple of surprises, and I don't want to say them.
Okay, but that's
okay.
A good
But
answer.
people can expect, so you will get your money's worth. I mean, £14, that's good enough to come and see me and shake my hand.
True.
You get the whole festival as a bonus. See? People will enjoy it.
Yes.
I'm pretty confident. I'm very confident. I mean, I don't want to come off as cocky. I mean, I don't care if I do, but
that's weird.
It's I'm confident about the festival.
Yeah, I'm actually glad we are going to make it, because when it got announced, I was like, oh, God damn it, one day London. It's kind of hard to, just because we talked about it last time, the entire Room Boy live happenings that they are doing. I want to go every time, but it's kind of hard to just pack up and leave here and say, hey, I'm going to London for 2 days just to go to the gig and back. I have to balance the family life.
Room Boy, it's complicated. I mean, it was I want people to give me pats on my back, because I mean, taking a flight out from Geneva, staying 3 hours in Amsterdam, flying up to Newcastle, nearly getting into an accident with an Uber. Yeah, I'm dedicated, man. I am dedicated. You see, as much as I like shitting on the scene, man, I am dedicated.
Was that the first one you went to?
Both.
Also the where the fight happened then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good friend of mine. That guy's a
Cool.
good friend of mine. He will be at Black Occult Fest as well.
Yeah, I was just talking to him before we started out. Okay, well, yeah, it's shaping up to be a great weekend. And like I said, I'm glad we are able to pull it off.
Yeah, I'm happy you're coming, because I was about to say, it's like, Tom, are you ever gonna actually support me, for fuck's sake?
Nah.
Yeah. We just shoot shit.
I'm more into black metal, you know.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I can't offer much.
No. When the aesthetic plot only, if that only was on the bill, was enough for me. I just want to see that live. That was the first thing I found.
You'll appreciate the support, because she's super nervous, and I told her, you don't have to be nervous, man. You do so much good music. Your project is so much. It's good, and I'm super proud. I mean, I just want my friends to be there, because Will to Power also is one of the first artists that was around for the label's Change of Identity. I had released his Temple Jupiter release, which was one of the first initial Martial Terror Manifesto drops. And yeah, I think it's fair. You know, you gave something to me. I want to put you forward. That's it. It works like that.
Yeah, I think the big no shows are Algol, and then when you said before, the guy with sword. No, not modernity.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll go. If I start paying people's US flight tickets, man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go under, man. Is the I can give you a secret info, because now that it's unfortunately official, well, it's been a while, but it's been official because just economically it's not possible. I don't want to sink. I'm already sinking so much, and people tend to forget I'm a one-man label that
Mhm.
just does it for the vibes, man. I don't make any money on any release. I just want my music out there. The festival is the same thing. If I break even, it's because Jesus like gave me a handshake. You know, that's it. But we were in talks with Veed, for example. Veed was supposed to play at Black Occult Fest, but you know, getting someone over from Texas, him and his drummer, we're starting to talk about investment is way too high.
Yeah, I think the same thing went for. I went to. We talked about them last time. Phantom Lure Fest. Yeah, Lure Fest, which had excellent atmosphere, but they had plans like you too to have people come over from the States, and I think they bit off also a bigger piece than they could chew, because once you're paying, like you said, flight tickets and hotels and wages and stuff like that, it's kind of hard.
It ramps up very, very quickly. It ramps up very, very quickly. For example, I'm paying for some hotel rooms for certain of the projects, and I can tell you the bill is there, you know, the bill is there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lurefest. So you went, and so unfortunately everyone's two favorite bands didn't show up. So you know, everyone's favorite Lego set black metal.
My favorite was a frog concert by a long shot.
Oh, it's fine then, but you know, but it's like everyone who won. Can you imagine how sad people were to not see Sidan? Man, can you imagine?
I don't even think it's worth going into, but yeah, why not?
Well,
I don't know.
Nostalgia every now and then, man.
There are a lot of people that are into that kind of music, and I mean, I'm over the fact that I care
Don't
about.
Understand. Yeah.
No, I don't understand, but more power to them if they like that kind of stuff. Why not? There's something for everybody if that's your thing. I have a whole new understanding.
I don't agree. I don't agree at all. I think you need to police every single person's taste. I think you need to police every single person's take. And for example, what I was gonna open up with for this episode is like, yeah, I think it's about time that I came back and started criticizing and dunking on everyone's opinions, even with the least amount of knowledge on any of these bands. Because never forget my mantra. It's like, insult a band and insult someone's taste when you have excessively little knowledge about it. I think that's how the scene will thrive. I think it's help.
I was going to say is that gatekeeping, but I think that's new gatekeeping maybe.
Yeah, no, that's beyond gatekeeping, man. You can't even come up the road to the gate for that. It's like, no, you refuse. So did you have fun at Lurefest? Was it good?
What?
Was it good? Was Lurefest? It was good, right?
It was actually a very pleasant day. Yes, we were there early. I helped out a bit. I was doing security.
Really?
Yeah, security.
Damn.
I was checking stamps at the door, but I managed to keep out a few people that weren't supposed to be there. But yeah, it's like you say. It was all people that were there for the fest and for those kind of artists. And although it's not always my cup of tea, like we said last time with the comfy synth and all that, I really enjoyed a man in a frog suit playing rivet pawns, synth stuff. I think all the sets, even the frog concert, was a bit beefed up. Like he started as very softly, but then the second half of the set was on a different rig, and I wouldn't say it went into too harder stuff, but it's notably harder just to have kind of the build up, like we say, in the festival. But something like the Meridian, I actually liked their set again. It wasn't that much different from the last time they played in London.
Oh yeah, you saw them twice then. Yeah, true.
Yeah. They grew in their playing style, I should say, but not that much because they were actually really good at their instruments in the first time I saw them. So
okay,
it was actually a good day, especially because
I support the guy behind the label. He's someone I really cherish and I really support because he helped out Black Occult a lot. So that's why I feel comfortable every now and then poking fun at him for all his comfy synth releases. I'm like, what are you doing, man? It's like, what are you doing? But I only have love for Phantom Lure. He deserves like
Yeah.
all the success. All the label deserves all the success it has, honestly. Even though he's spending a ton of money to put cupcakes on vinyl, but you know.
I think in the last video there was a comment in there. I don't know how internet speak works, but this gives me life or something like that, and then it was a time code, and it's you going off on cupcakes.
Well, because you cannot expect to put a vinyl out with Tiny Mouse, some random stuff with with geese and frogs, and then you don't expect me to make fun of it. And I got shit for that because then he sent me the email and he was like, "Oh, I heard you have a problem with Tiny Mouse," and I'm like, "Well, nice. Yeah, well, of course I have a problem with Tiny Mouse." It's like, what are you doing? But
I actually never heard back from him on that. I kind of post here and there because we see each other kind of regularly, like on last time was at the Pankraker, the big swap meets we did over here, or that they did over here, and then the Northwest. But he never commented on that. I thought
I got shit for that.
Perfect. He's a great guy.
I love him.
He's been around since forever, so yeah, he's a dedicated person for sure.
First person that gave me help. First person that stocked my stuff. Phantom Lure used to even ship out my first production. So
yeah,
no matter what he does, I will always respect. There's stuff that goes beyond, shitting on each other's music, which is my mantra. But I will always support Phantom because there's a couple of key people that put me where I am, and he's one of them. So
there's a big chance the Belgian contingent will include him coming.
Oh yeah, no, we talked. He's gonna make it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We had kind of a prep list, but I completely forgot. Other than the fact then I was going to grill you about religion. Let's go into religion through your music. You have a project, you said it yourself, the 1-800 Babylon, that started as power electronics, whatever you want to call it. How is it connected to religion, or is it connected to religion? Because it's Babylon, so there's of course that term.
So it was never meant to be fully into the religious aspect. I think the religious aspect is going to come forward more from my identity with the project. But the first release, for example, and when hatred took a hold of me, it was about religious fanaticism. And for once, it was about, from what I felt in the music, it was about religious mysticism, but under a Christianity aspect. The cover is a very Xeroxed, filtered photo of this massive Jesus statue sort of looming over this person who's turning around in absolute fear. And I think that thematically, what I wanted to develop after was this newfound fear in God that many people are discovering. Because not to go too much off on a tangent, but since what we're probably living, we can just throw it out there. But what we're probably living is end times, with this complete degeneration of society and everything that more and more people are refusing. More and more people cannot not see nowadays. They're obliged to. And I think there's this newfound fear of God, which I think is going to be healthy on a psychological level. And I think that first release wanted to touch on the aspects of this religious fear, but not religious fear like the completely cringe. I've already had this opinion on this podcast. Like, I find Satanism extremely cringe. Certain aspects of Satanism, like the LaVeyan one, some of the more pathetic or whatever they call it, Orthodox state nonsense. I wanted to look into maybe a more profound fear, which is not me being an edgy teenager and posting pentagrams and underground crosses, but a legitimate fear of what if there's a doubt that you will be put in front of your creator? How will you feel? And I was trying to extrapolate the feelings of that anxiety, fear, danger of this religious power that you will never understand, no matter how much you try.
Yeah.
So the first one was very axed on religion. Yeah.
we have to clarify the term God. You believe in you're a religious person. So is there a deity that is God? Is God the creator? Is God the ultimate?
Yes, God is Jesus Christ.
And
Jesus is Son of God, God Himself. Yes, I do believe
it wholeheartedly, right?
Yeah, no. I am. I've become a lot more. People who follow the page probably realized it, but I've become a lot more activist, a lot more upfront about a more powerful Christianity, a more powerful form of Christianity, whether it's Orthodoxy, whether it's Catholicism, whether it's this new movement of Anglo-Catholicism that a couple of my friends are in. To reply to your question, I believe that there is one God, there is one true God, and that there is a deity. Yeah, I am Roman Catholic, for example.
Yeah. Okay. You were raised Roman Catholic, always went to church, everything that comes with
Yeah,
it.
man. Yeah, man. I go to church every single Sunday. I wake up at 10. I go to church at 11. Baptized, communion, confirmation.
That's insane.
Propaganda problems,
Okay.
Sketchy Instagram stories. Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, I've decided to very consciously push a controlled religious fanatism, if you want to. My way of seeing it. You know how they have those examples of controlled chaos?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to go into controlled fanatism.
Oh. Is Black Occult a Christian label?
Yeah, definitely.
It's
a Christian extremist label.
How do you counter something like Blood Countess, which is not Christian black metal, I guess?
Well, because we were playing around with this notion with the guy in Blood Count. It's like, yeah, you can be satanic, but you're releasing under me, so like the little pyramid. The little pyramid. You go play around with your demons and Satan and and stuff like that. But I'm obviously joking around. I am neutral. I used to respect other people's opinions on religion. Now I'm neutral. One day I'll be actively antagonistic, but not yet.
I once asked a Satanist if he believed in God. His answer was no. So I'll flip it around and ask you. So you do believe in Satan also?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, as a power of pure evil.
I may have my own vision of Satan. How can I explain this? I feel Satan is corruption of morals and soul.
Yeah.
So whatever form that can take, to me, that will be satanic. Do I believe Satan as a horned god sitting on a throne? No. Do I believe in Satan as a corruption? Yes, because Lucifer, the fallen angel, was corrupted.
But then the God figure couldn't exist either. So God is the opposite of corruption, is the goodness in people.
Yeah, but that's why I'm taking Lucifer as an example.
Okay.
If you want an effigy of it, it can be the fallen angel of Lucifer, which then became, for the people that believe in Luciferianism, which I tend to. If you want me to give you my view of what Satanism could be, is that it's people believing into Lucifer as a fallen angel, that sort of aspect. So with that, it brings an effigy, but it also brings the concept of corruption. Jesus Christ is an effigy of goodness and goodwill, but also brings the forces of positivity and good energy. I'm dumbing this down as much as I can. It's very difficult on the roll, but I think I'm pretty comfortable with saying that, for example. Yeah. So to your question, do you believe in Satan? Yes, but not the guy sitting on the throne with the
horns.
With the cat ears like this. You see, furries to me are Satanism. There you go.
I knew it. That's where I was going, actually.
The furries are Satanists. There you
go. The corruption of youth and morals.
Exactly. It's straight from the devil, man.
So the first release was about the fear for a deity, or the fear of being corrupted by the evilness.
Yeah.
How did it evolve or resolve into the second and the third one? Or is there?
I don't think there's a direct line of evolution. I think that I've always wanted, like many in the scene, I wanted to explore subjects that people are not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Which, if you say it nowadays, it's very cliche. But then again, not everyone really delves deep into these aspects. So The fear, so it wasn't actually the fear of the corruption, it was the actual legitimate fear of this goodness, of this all-encompassing God, which can he become so good and so pure that it makes you feel fear? You know, that was more of like the first one.
Yeah.
The second one, it was, I wanted to see if I could conjure up these feelings of mental decay, mental struggle, in a very concise, very concise point. So the first one can be broad. It can be broad. The first release is broad. It's fear. It's concepts which are not easily definable. The second one I wanted to make a lot more concise. So the second release takes place on a short car ride, where this person who's committed a heinous act towards a young girl is going through this slow decay of realization, of acceptance, of whether there is remorse or not. That's up to the listener to sort of pick out. Disgust, general mal-être, as they say in French. So I went from a very broad concept to something that was very concise and was long, just like a road trip, a very unfortunate bad road trip, let's say.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the bigger fear put into a small perspective of one person.
Disgust. If you want me to put one word, it'd be disgust in the second one.
Okay.
Like human disgust.
It's the cover with the actual girl with the assault on the front.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's the so the back has the girl, and the front it's like turned up earth with a shovel, you know, for the object.
Okay. Very interesting releases. I think I kind of like, because I didn't know the entire. I know you were religious, but I didn't know it was that focused on it. But that gives it a new layer in the entire thing. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around, because certain things have happened in my life that I shun religion. I shun every religion. I mock Satanism. I mock everything. So, but I can. If you put it into just the pure baseline good and bad within mankind, I think that's something everybody will understand.
I do respect your point of view. That's why I'm not actively into proselytism yet. You know, so I'm sort of feeling out the terrain, and then soon I'll move into into religious activism. But all jokes aside, I can respect and accept that point of view. I mean, I'm going through a journey for myself at the moment. I'm not going through a journey to push anything on anyone. Before, I need to sort myself out religiously, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, I think you have to be very strong mentally to even delve into that shit, because if you, like you said, if you get into the types of good and bad, it's hard to. That's why I think it's interesting that you went from the broad scope to the mental issue in the second part, because I talked to some people not that long ago that were into demonology and were looking into that, and then taking psychobilin, taking mushrooms, and then completely losing their self in that. I think there's. I'm not saying there's more than we know, but there is.
No, there is, because if you want to go into that, I have my opinions too. For example, the whole history about DMT. Is it called DMT? I do believe it's people who are into hallucinogenics are consciously or unconsciously opening doors that they shouldn't be opening.
Yeah, I think it's weird with DMT. I don't know too much about it. That's stuff I'm scared about, or scared of. I don't do that shit. But it's weird that everybody describes the same kind of deities they see in that trip. So,
did you not see there's that university that's trying to map out the actual realm of DMT? Like, that news went completely under the radar, and I was sitting in front of the article. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I think it's one of the main universities. I'm not sure. I don't want to say something stupid, but it's I remember seeing Oxford University tries to map out the DMT realm. So as soon as you start mapping something out, and as you say, people seeing the same things, the same deities. What is it, like the mechanical elves or whatever they're called? Stuff like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't be opening doors to sacrality, whether negative or positive. We as humans should not be stepping on terrains of gods, whoever they may be.
Yeah, it's also usually the people on the lower side of the ladder that are into that weird stuff. And it's weird it's weird to hear Oxford going into
I don't get it. I remember this friend of mine saying, "You can believe in black magic. You don't have to. You can if you're interested or not. But if you don't believe in that type of stuff, don't play around with it just to be cool.
No.
Don't take a stupid Ouija board in your house. Don't start doing black candles and such, because the way you are affected by those type of things, as I see it, is as soon as you start accepting the possibility that they exist."
Yeah, I always compared it to there's the hourglass. You know, you have the top and the bottom. The absolute 0 point between your brain and the outside world, or the outside worlds, is the middle. The brain is the expansion of the brain is ever growing. We don't know nothing about the brain. There's maybe 10%, if that, and there's 10% we know about the other world. So that's it. Always that image, not because the sand is going through, but just the expansion of both worlds, and that's the real point. I think I'm more afraid of the inwards expansion than the outward expansion.
Understandable. I think we have to be humble with it. I think we have to be extremely humble with it. People need to accept the fact that there's an infinity we will never know, we won't know, we don't know, and we are probably not capable of understanding anyway. So my personal voyage through it is that, why do I want to you cannot perfect these type of things, but why do I want to delve deeper inwards? And I'm just as scared as you, man. I'm just as scared as you for going inwards. But I think we need to be humble and concentrate on our spirituality, if you want to develop it or not, and taking the necessary steps to expand your own consciousness however you want to, but having this sort of respect for certain boundaries that we're not meant to understand. And I think a lot of people that try those type of things and that go into the extremism of what's the Crowley movement, the Aleister Crowley movements, or the Order of the Nine Angels, or people going heavily into DMT. It's a blanket term, what I'm going to say, but I just think you're setting yourself up for failure if you go into those.
It's always led by a person, and I don't think that's ever the answer. I'm not saying Catholicism maybe is a broader network than something like the Crowley stuff and stuff like that. But I don't know. When it becomes religion, it kind of loses its interest for me, just because it becomes dogmatic, it becomes rules.
Yeah, becomes codified.
Yeah, interesting. But a realm that I'm not capable of talking too much, actually. It's just I want to expand my knowledge on that, but it's just where to start is just so daunting, I guess.
It's daunting. It's scary. It takes I think that's what demonstrates mental fortitude for someone. I mean, accepting the fact that it's daunting, to me, is already a massive first step.
Yeah.
Because it's people who do not accept that it's daunting and who say, it's like, you know what, man, fuck that movement, I'm better. Oh, the atheists or the scientists that say, oh, if this and that. To me, that's already you're falling behind on what you could probably consider self-expansion.
Yeah.
And to me, a first step is always accepting that it's scary, it's daunting, because you're focusing on it. You're focusing on something that feels towards you. People who just automatically brush it off, I tend to not be able to have massive discussions with. I have a lot of discussions with people that are absolutely not, who do not agree with religious views or Catholicism, but they're not brushing it off in a way that they are better than it, because that's an unfortunate problem today. I don't mind people believing in anything, but I do not accept people thinking they're better than other people on spiritual beliefs. That's between you and God, if you believe in God, or you and whatever sort of spirituality you want to do. I know, again, these are very easy phrases. These are phrases you read on those single mom 50-year-old stickers, but I mean, I'm sorry, if they're so cliche, they have a true base.
The older I get, the more I realize that every cliche has become truth.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So the smoke is wine moms putting motivational quotes on fridges, but it does stem from something. Just as much as hatred towards a religious belief, because some people, which I'm sure you've noticed, if you're so above religious and spiritual evolution, why are you so hateful to it?
Just because of the lack of willing to understand anything, or to kick in doors that are not easy to get kicked in, something like that.
I think these people, the louder you are about this, I think the more scared you are to face certain things.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I ever talk about something like this on this channel, let alone the other. Most people can't handle an algorithm, let alone, you know, the bigger things in life.
And you have to accept that people will make fun of you. Like before, I had this thing which is I used to accept as a sort of a living situation, which brings a lot of remorse in my soul or in my heart. And it's that for years, Catholicism and Christianity were always sort of made fun of. You know, it was like the weaker religion, the turn the other cheek religion. You were not cool in high school if you went to church, if you followed. And I know there's a vast generation of people who went through that and who maybe lost, without going as far as saying lost their faith, but lost the fact to not be ashamed about their faith, or at least be ashamed about what they're doing. And I grew up in a situation where it's like, oh, why are you going to church? Oh, you loser. Or why do you believe in God, you loser? You know, I had this cringe ass friend in high school who used to play the goth and everything, and he used to come in my house, and you know like those teenage 90s bad bitches who comes and looks at my crucifix and it's like, oh, what, you believe in God? It's like, what type of discussion is that, man? And I know for a fact that people that, let's say you've been in high school from anywhere from the 80s to 2015, you are basically shunned upon if you're religious. If you're religious under one religion, and we're not going to go into that because I want you to keep your video up, but one religion was shunned. Just one religion was shunned. And I feel that a lot of people lost the courage to talk about it, whether lightly, whether deeply, whether you have a strong notion of it, whether you have a weak notion of it. I think that if you want to talk about it, you have a right to.
Yeah.
So people will be there and say, it's like, oh, your phrases are superficial, your phrases are not deep. I don't care, man. I want to talk about it. And I think we're jumbling everything. I mean, I don't know how we got here, but I want people to not be ashamed about having faith. There.
Yeah, I think with Catholicism, it's not to go into obvious territory, but I think the church didn't help the faith for not just with the entire pedophilia scandals, but just the entire story of how the church handled themselves and the world. Because for good or for bad reasons, they destroyed a lot of religion, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of faith from early civilizations, which is a thing to hate them for, I guess, if you want to be anti. But once again, it's the establishment. It's not the belief or not the story written down. I think there are a lot of people who believe in Tolkien. I mean, if he started raping kids, I don't think the books would have sold as well.
Yeah, probably not, man. Probably not.
Yeah, interesting stuff. It's just I think for myself, my journey will be inwards from not from here on out, because I've been working on myself quite a bit in the last 4 years, I guess, just because of the fear of what a mind can do or what a brain can do, actually. And it's an ongoing journey. So
it's an interesting one, and journeys are never supposed to be easy or fun, you know.
If they're fun, they're not words. They're not
if
words.
Fun tends to, like, there's something wrong if they're fun. There's something, you're not looking at the right aspect.
No, because that's the question, how are you doing, is has been bothering me for the last 2 or 3 years, just because you say ça va, it's all good, but it's not always all good. That's a different story for a different time. We are nearing the hour mark, as usual, with our rants. We had some prepped stuff. I think I asked for your, because I did my top 70,000 of the year video. You have, or I asked you to pick 5, not per se black metal releases for, I
actually did prep this time. I actually did prep. So if you want to rapid fire these and let me give you like a sort of rundown. First of all, let's start with something amazing, man. Look at how cringe this is. Look at how what is this, man? This is amazing. This is so cringe.
It's half a coffin.
It's half, it's actually like handmade. Like they show the guy doing it. It's so this is one release I wanted to quickly just talk about because I had prepped a comment which I find super cool. So it's the Pale Riders release.
I was wondering how the LP would fit in that coffin, but obviously don't.
Yeah, that's the CD, man. It's the CD, and there's a very black occult thing in the CD box, which is this. Wonder if I'll wear that live. So, are you familiar with the band Earth?
Earth is in Dylan Carlson.
The drone gods. Have you heard the album Hex or Printing in the Infernal Method?
Yes, one of my favorites.
I find that album to be absolutely a key in my musical taste and evolution, because I've never heard an album that manages to put into music and concept this complete destruction of the view that people had of the Wild West.
Yeah.
The Hollywood guns and Apaches and colors and everything, when in reality it was poverty, it was bleakness, it was dryness, it
is so
Meridian,
weird
like
to bring it up.
The book, Blood Meridian, the book. That's Old West, the Wild West. And there's a point to where I'm going, by the way. I actually prepared this. So that feeling in the album Earth of this absolute dreary, bleak boredom, poverty, it makes you feel a lot. That album is absolutely amazing. I recommend it to anyone who follows your podcast. Earth Printing, the Hex Printing in the Infernal Method is amazing.
Yes.
How does this relate to the Pale Riders new release? Is that it's the only time where I had the same feeling.
Okay.
Just in another musical aspect. So you feel this Wild West, but this more Blood Meridian Wild West, this Dead West sort of feeling. Very dry acoustic guitars, very dry ballads. It's weird what I'm going to say. It's like, I find that the weak parts of this album are the black metal parts. Unfortunately.
I do put in perspective my listening to this. I just jumped into the shower, put on a few tracks, listened to it. It's maybe the unnecessary parts in there. It kind of reminded me. I had one is missing, but I had the black metal parts are like the or sound to me like the more outlaw parts of txeN, maybe something like that.
Fair point. Good point.
If you take that and you cross it with Peste Noire, and then I haven't even began to delve into the cowboy or the western aspects. Sorry, but yeah, somewhere on the Peste Noire outlaw txeN is this upon first listening.
But don't you agree that in Peste Noire it's cohesive with the music, even when he switches up to acoustic or when he switches up to folk? While in this album it just feels patchy.
Yeah.
And I love Bez Ash. I love Bez Ash. I love their musical prowess. I think they're an amazing band. They're probably one of the only few remaining BM bands I like, but I think they should have pushed even more into that Western aspect. And if you have a good listen through this, it's an amazing release. It's an amazing release.
Yep. Yeah, my interest was peaked immediately, not just because of the Bez Ash, but yeah, it just sounded good production-wise. With the Hex, I kind of don't hear it because I didn't creep into the concept of the album that much, but yeah, definitely.
It's very concept heavy. You need to be in the mindset of like reading into those lines.
Yeah, it is so weird that you come up with this line of thinking, because I was listening to, I don't know if you know the podcast Countdown, being a troll that you are, you should have heard.
No.
It's a podcast that has been gone forever, but they're the OG trolling podcast, whatever you want.
Nice.
They talk about nothing, but there is a part of the section where they play Red Dead Redemption, that GTA cowboy game, and I was listening to that this week, and it just dawned upon me that the Western feel we have, like you said, from movies is far, far from what it actually is. So I'm at work, I'm listening to the podcast, and I was thinking about how I would walk through these desolate deserts, white spaces. It's so weird that you bring up that.
Well, because it's something that's always been a passion of mine, which I don't really talk about, but for example, it's to me, it's Blood Meridian in music. That book is a trip through that sort of feeling. And I understand what you mean, because again, you want to bring back the word daunting. That to me is daunting. That vastness, that dryness, that it's just so, it's so enticing. And I've only ever found that in the Hex album. And this is the first time I re-feel it.
Okay. I'm going to re-listen to the Hex album, definitely.
Yeah. And I can segue into another release which teeters the same line, but in a different aspect. So this is from a good friend and band and label friend Martin Lawrence, Mons Newman, Fire Newman. I got his Overtrodden release, which is amazing, man. It's amazing. I don't even know how to qualify it. It's experimental, sort of ambient. I don't want to use the word ritualistic because I don't feel it is, but it's, you know how we were talking about a walk through the Old West for the other release? Mm-hmm. This is a walk through all aspects of the British countryside, with each nook and cranny, with each little aspect, whether magical, whether bleak, whether brutal, whether happy. And it's a full experience. You should, I don't know if you managed to pick this one up, if you got it. It's a wonderful, I can't fucking close it, sorry. There, and I ruined my release. Not only do I ruin my computer, I ruin my releases.
Is it a 6-tape?
That's a 3-tape.
Oh, okay.
And then his other project, which to me hits close to home, which is the Alps one.
Ah, okay.
And this is amazing, man. This guy's an amazing artist. It's all about the Alps. So the same sort of mysticism, the same sort of magical aspects, field recordings, ambient music of the Swiss Alps. With all its folklore, you see these typical masks that they have in those old mountainside chalets and all the culture. And he's a scholar. He's really a scholar. I'm only familiar with him since a couple of months, but completely blindsided. And to bring back the anecdote, so basically, if with the Pale Riders and Hex, you feel like you're walking through the Old West, and it gives you that daunting feel. This gives you that mystical feel of the folklore and the rural magical aspects of walking through a countryside. It's just, they're all journeys. All these albums, all these releases are journeys, and I think they're amazing ones.
I was hitting myself for missing the drop. I didn't miss the drop. I messaged the Pit Ash and asked, because I always get them from him directly, but he is distributing through
Legion Bloodhound.
Yeah, Legion Bloodhound. So it's kind of hard for me to pick everything up at the moment when it comes out. So.
Did you get this?
No. I missed the entire drop. Nothing.
Okay. See, that's another interesting aspect. I love when people do this. I absolutely love when people do this. So he put like a cough syrup bottle.
Okay.
For Odious Hiss. And you know how we've talked about this a lot of times. I love concept heavy things. Mm-hmm. And this hits so close to home, and it's so bleak because it puts little comments like, on average, 5,000 people in the UK die from poisoning. And then it hits you across the face with, why not be one of them? No, it's amazing. I love these people. I love what they're doing. And then they give you this sort of a cough syrup bottle.
Do it.
And it's a mini USB, so I'll die choking on that. And it reminds me of when I used to be, I wasn't hooked, but you know, cough syrup goes down pretty fucking easily, man.
Sure. So, I had one experience.
yeah, it's so you mean these things are so amazing. These and 6 months in, and I haven't changed my idea. I think Hotchin Pit, Aske, all these people, Wolvier, are doing something different. And I think they're doing it amazingly. Let me just quickly shout out. I'm just quickly going to shout out Wolvier. Good friend as well.
How good is it?
Sorry?
How good is it that the price tag is on there?
Yeah, but it's actually like old crone he overdubbed stuff. It's so good. Like the tape are those old tapes. I love this presentation.
Yeah.
Another really, really great artist. Everything that touches on rurality, nature, and mysticism and folklore is.
Yeah.
We're there.
I'm going to hunt down all the shit, but sometimes I challenge myself by missing a drop and then hunting everything down on the back end. So I'll do that with this because it's getting harder and harder to
yeah.
You can follow, but to buy everything is becoming very, very insane lately, especially with shipping prices. Every time you pay shipping, it's like an extra drop that you pay for. So, but
shipping is become absolutely retarded because I got my T-shirts in for the festival. Let me give the podcast a sneak preview. Well, sneak preview, it's on the page. But I mean, I got done by. Let me see if you see the logo well.
Yes, I love the back.
Yeah, the back is amazing. I was trying to go for this old school Oi aesthetic, and it's done. It's done by another very good friend of the label, which is J Craft. He does stuff for. He's in that whole circle of the Aske Boys, the Hutchin Pit, and all that. See what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to do something very cohesive. I want people who I like working with, who have a very original artistic sense, and
yeah, we talked good about them last time, but it's like you said, they're doing something different, but they're giving black metal another vein that is worth checking out.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a sea of shit that's coming out. So yeah, all respect to them.
Yeah.
Last time we talked about power electronics. I asked you a few months ago to initiate me into a different type of Oi, and I guess you have one prepared for now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
See how I prepared everything? I got everything here, man.
You're a good scholar.
My obsession lately, and it's not a healthy one because, as you might know, it's very similar to the punk, hardcore vinyl scene, where for absolutely no reason your vinyls go way beyond price and way beyond human conception of what's normal to spend. I've been heavily into Japanese Oi. Wait, let me take away this because it's gonna reflect. And it has been probably, I have not been this excited about music in 10 years. I'm not even joking, man.
Okay.
I'm not even joking, because it's very hard to be excited about power electronics. Power electronics, you can be excited about the themes behind it.
Yeah, but not the releases.
Yeah, and it's difficult to, power electronics is like black metal. There's a sea of mediocrity, and then you've got a couple of very, very good releases. This music, man, if you have the time to you don't even need to go on a deep dive, but it's punk, but better. It's punk, but with Japanese sensibilities of melody.
Okay.
You know how they have this insane ability to make easy melodies fit in any type of music?
Yes.
Whether it's visual kei, whether it's black metal, whether it's pop, whether it's rock. This is a personal favorite of mine. This is a personal grail of mine. So the band is called Miburo, and they're all part of the same circle called.
Scale it back a bit. Yeah.
Sorry.
Pull it back a bit.
Oh, pull it back.
Yes. They're looking cool. Are they all imports?
Yeah, they're all imports, or there's this German label, I think, who did illegal bootlegs of them, because the culture in Japan for these type of releases is very CD heavy.
No.
So vinyl will not be the main product. Never.
But are they authorized bootlegs by the German, or?
I have no idea, man. I hope so. So this is called Raya.
Okay.
And they're all part of the same circle. It's called the Samurai Spirit Strong Style. And that's what they call their type of music. They call it strong style, which I think is just so much fun, man. And it's just the ease with which they compose tracks, which are super simple, super rough, like punk, but they've got this melody. And I'm going to hate saying this. It's as if anime openings were really rough punk.
Yeah, okay.
I could get smacked across the face if I said that to these people, but I don't know how to communicate it in a better way, because they've got the typical melodic crescendos, they've got the power chords, they got the breakdowns. It's so good, man. This is another one of the band, always the same circle.
That one I saw.
Growl Strike. So that's the label. It's called Rising Sun Productions. But
they're not very original, but
yeah, it's I don't know. I could get the info because I know a couple of people who import Japanese oi, but I don't know, man. I'd be super disappointed if everything was not agreed on.
Yeah.
The final one I wanted to show.
It's fun to keep the mystery alive.
This one.
Samurai Storm. What's that? Traders?
Stormtroopers. It just oozes class, man. It's tough boy music. It's good stuff. And the oi scene is a fascinating one. You know, you got the dry, very political British oi. You got the more problematic German oi. You got very melodic, bouncy folklore Swedish oi. I think the oi scene is very interesting. It's way too much of a deep dive. It's way too much of a discussion. So I'm just really condensing what I've been really, really enjoying. I think you can probably tell by how I'm talking about it, but it's been a long time that I haven't been excited about music. I was losing a lot of passion for music in the conventional sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know I always meme around about it, how it's like, oh, I haven't listened to black metal. But it was, as we were talking privately, I probably listened to 2 albums of black metal in this whole year. It was the Nachtlicht one and the Pale Riders. That's it. Not a bad one. Banger, absolute banger. But so I sort of filled my boredom, musical boredom with this tough boy. I love how it's called strong style, man.
That I love too.
Such a good way, man. So much. It helped me become motivated in music again. I know it sounds wild because music is infinite, but
it's been the theme in all videos. So I'm glad you finally found something.
Back, man. No. It's like I'm actually excited to put this stuff on. There was a period of time where I'd used to receive vinyls. I'd order by inertia. I know you probably felt that too. You buy by inertia because it's like, oh, there's the new stuff coming by. Oh, there's, I don't know, off the top of my head, there's the new Odraza represses coming out. And you just click and you click and you click and you click and you stock up on so much stuff that you're not even particularly happy to have.
I am, this year, I've been massively selling stuff. Massively.
Yeah, I noticed you were downsizing, yeah?
Yeah, also from a black metal cabinet, it's like you said, amassing stuff that just don't get listened to. And I know a lot of people looking for these records. I'm not selling top dollar, just go median on Discogs, maybe a bit below, just to get these records in the hands of people who really appreciate them, because I don't. I'm very particularly buying, and that's weird for me to say because I buy everything, it seems, but so.
Yeah, but you get this. It becomes to the point where you're not even happy about receiving them. And I received 5 vinyls. You put it on the player. You're listening to it because you have to listen to it because you bought it. But I see my stack growing like that, and I'm like, and for a good amount of time. When last time we talked, I was still fully into it. I was very bored of music. I was very, very bored of music. I had to scrape through the last couple of months. And that's why this time I was particularly excited to shout out the Hotch and Pit guys, to shout out Wolvir, to shout out Mons Newman, to show you the Japanese oi stuff, because the running theme on the last 2 times we talked is that I'm bored of music. The first one was a bit memey. The second one was a sad realization that I was bored. And now I'm excited again. I mean, I love putting this stuff on. And I hope that anyone that went through this sort of ennui of these past 5 years, because I know a lot of people, just because of way too much offer in anything. Sure. It's the provocative thought of like, everyone says it's like, yeah, but everyone has the right to release music. And then I was talking to an old head, and I was telling him back in the 90s or early 2000s, 80% of what we listen to today would not be put out on label.
Definitely not.
The median line of quality back then was so high that even something that was considered low mid bargain bin tier would be a gem today.
Mm.
So how do we balance that? How do you balance that? Because is it cringe and boomer to say it because, oh, it was better before? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm dead convinced it was.
I think it's the same as with we talked about it last time when we talked about Midoram and the attention span people have. It is so fragmented. It's like music has become an algorithm where you just go tak 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 that.
Yeah.
And I find myself doing the same, doing tak tak tak, and then missing the entire Hotch and Pit drop just because I don't have the funding for it at that time. So yeah, there's something there, but if you are a music fan, and believe me, I'm getting into the inertia point of my life with collecting, with listening to music, that is just like, it's always the same. It's always the same. That you find gems here and there. But yeah, there is a point where I can see myself saying like, enough. I'm not going to say I'm done, because there's always music coming out that I'm really interested in, that really piques my, that does something to my brain that is worth checking out, but it's just the consumption of it all.
There's the aspect of the world we're living in as well in terms of consumerism. I was talking about this with Rain the other day, is that back when I used to buy CDs, the early age when I started listening to black metal, CDs, I don't know if we touched upon this, but to me it's a very simple view. Is back then you had to spend 29, well, here was Swiss francs, but so let's say 29 euros to buy one CD.
Mm-hmm.
One CD. So try and transpose what we listen to today in money of what we would have had to spend back then.
Yeah, it's insane.
Back then, you used to cherish your album. You used to choose your album really, really well, because maybe you don't have the funds to buy the trilogy from Darkthrone. So you'll buy one. So imagine a time where you have that type of money. You have to choose your albums. A label will only release quality because conscious of the... Today, you pay Spotify. You have access to everything. So in my eyes, what does that do? First of all, it detaches you from the importance of the item, whether deep, whether superficial, whether anything. You just have access to anything. Are you bored of what you're listening to? Let's skip to another thing. Are you bored of what you're listening to? Oh, put on a playlist, put on something. It's too much. So when you have this insane offer, you're not actually appreciating music.
No.
That's a hill I would die on. Is you don't appreciate music. And yeah, it's also because of an economic sense. Because I remember once I bought 5 CDs and I felt like I was DJ Khaled, because I bought 5 CDs. Exactly. Today, if I want to do the whole discography of what I did the other day, I wanted to catch up just off the top of my head. I wanted to listen to Accept.
Yeah.
So, and Manila Road, I did the same thing. Manila Road and Accept. I went through the whole discography in 2 days.
Yeah, just because you can. It's
because
all there.
I can. I don't think I appreciated Manila Road, which I adore, as much as back then when I had bought Crystal Logic on CD.
Which you heard 10,000.
Boom, boom, boom. But even a mid-tier level album, to me, because I don't know if these are considered good or not good, there was this, I think it was a Swedish band called The Haunted.
Yeah.
It was like bouncy thrash or whatever and stuff like that. I know that Revolver album by heart. And it's considered, why not, Yeah. But I bought it. I spent 29 euros of it. I sat down and I appreciated every minute of it. If today I don't like the first track of an album, I'm going to switch album. On spot.
Weird.
Yeah. That's I think the fact that you have this ease of access, and why I think gatekeeping should actually be physical, is that I don't think music is actually appreciated as much as it should be. And the second thing is that I don't think people have the same connection to music that they used to back in those days. So you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, of course it was better before, just by simple monetary, consumeristic, technological reasons.
True. We should make a pact to buy one album each month. Just one.
Oh, I'm already on it, man. I don't think I mean, yeah, I picked up the whole drop, but I think it's the only thing I bought this month.
That's perfect. That is actually perfect. Then you have time also to listen to it.
Exactly. I buy maybe one record a month. I'm not even joking. If that.
Yeah. But me, it's this vicious circle of interest in music. a lot of stuff coming out. I have a channel where people are interested in what I'm showing. I need some stuff to show, and it's just keeps.
But that's what I was about to say. It must be very different for you because you have to review it.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything.
But let's say people want to listen to your opinion, which is a good point. You've got. I like the way you analyze your stuff. So you're kind of sucked into something where you need product.
Yeah, I need product to make content, which is a weird thing. That's why I love these things.
It's a dangerous circle. You need to navigate it super well.
Yeah, I think I managed the past 15 years to do it quite well because we are a family that's sustaining itself, that has food on the table, and I'm doing stuff I like to do because the collection is kind of an Ouroboros. Stuff goes out, stuff comes in. I have about, I don't know, 200 to 300 releases that are in the for sale bin. So I think if I can manage it that way, it's always going to be self-sustaining. But
fair. If you can, it's good that you have the professionalism to navigate it. That's good. I think people need that, and I think people need to reconnect with. I don't think when people say I love this album, I am so elitist that I automatically don't believe them, whether they explain it or not. It's like, I absolutely love this album, and I'm like, but do you really love it? Or just because you liked a couple of songs that's on repeat? Am I right? Am I wrong? Not for me to say, but I do feel people need to reconnect, and man, ease of access.
Yeah, I'm not even pretending anymore that I listen to all the releases I buy, because it's impossible. It's something with object value, and I try to listen to everything, believe it or not, because everything kind of gets spun one or two times. But it's just, it's the channel that keeps the interest going, I guess. But I made it a conscious effort, I think 5 years ago, to really, really, really listen to a lot of stuff. I'm constantly listening to music. So I try, but it's hard to.
But that means you took that decision at a moment where it was peak release consumerism overflow.
Yeah.
So that that was because if you're talking about 1920, hats off, because that's when many people fell into sort of accepting this mediocrity subconsciously. The point I was making before is that we accepted a median level of quality, which is way lower than back in the day, and it's slop. You know how they use the term for certain YouTube channels? It's slop. A lot of stuff is slop. It's just absolute slop. It's shovelware.
Yeah, regurgitation of stuff that wasn't listenable.
Shovelware. It's you can shovel out releases and throw them, and it will not make a difference.
No.
You can have a bucket of every single release on Gem's label and repos, and you can shovel into it and bucket it out, and you will have lost not 1 second of your life. Shots fired to those labels, I don't care. I think people need to hold themselves to a higher standard. Look, I looked into myself for that as well. I was like, I'm releasing a lot of stuff lately, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff I'm releasing might not resonate with everyone. So I took a conscious decision, and the festival obviously helped. It's not to contradict my initial point, but from other discussions, I had already decided to cut back on production because I maybe didn't have my heart into some of them, and I hope these people don't take it badly, because I'm obviously not going to name names. People can make their own opinions, but why do I permit myself to criticize certain labels? Is because I think it's healthy to look at yourself and say, yeah, I released some shovelware.
Okay.
I don't think many people have the balls to do that.
No, I don't think so. But there has been a point in history where that has become the norm. Yeah, I think we are climbing out of it just because a lot of people, or the right people, are noticing it or anticipated it, and then made an effort to not step into the same trap over and over and over again.
Yeah. I think it's the only way to move forward is that take a slice of humble pie, as they say. Just look at your catalog. It's like, okay, made a mistake once, made a mistake twice. Let's try and distill into something which at least my entry point is believe in it 100%. People who say they believe, labels who say they believe 100% in every single one of their releases, I'm just gonna flat out call them out as liars.
It's hard.
It's hard. So no judgment. I fell through it. I fell into the trap. Let's try at least, or you know what? They do whatever the fuck they want. I'm trying to at least put myself in a situation where I love my release. I love the release I'm putting out. I'm counting the days till the press sends me the tapes. Evil Colony made that effect on me. The Anonymous Hands release, such an amazing release, man. Anyone who's fan of Skinny Puppy, all those old electro type projects, such a good release. And I went from releasing 4 or 5 tapes a month to one every 4 months.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, actually.
Yeah. You just need to accept that, oh man, you know what? I messed up on this release. And it doesn't even have to be, did it sell or did it not sell? Because I have a couple of releases that sold out, which I'm not super happy to have them in my catalog.
Yeah, okay. Well, not naming names, so.
A lot of people have the courage to say that. I'm sorry. I don't think anyone will understand or feel, how do you say it in English? They won't feel the bullseye on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Look, I think there's a lack of honesty. And that's too vast of a subject. I'm not going to pretend like we're going to, say there's no need to talk about that. But I'm trying to do me. I'm trying to do stuff that I love. So.
Dare before God go we.
Yeah. Are you talking into your military speak again?
Buddy, we have almost waited an hour and 30 minutes. I know you have to do something.
Get super mad at me because I'm going to be late.
That's why I was going to round off. It's 10 o'clock.
See why I love talking to you? I'm going to glaze you a bit. Is that I didn't even notice. I just looked up now. I was looking at the stuff on the table and I'm like, I'm going to get screamed at.
And not by an artist. Or maybe. No. Okay. Hey, this was Volume 3. Super looking forward to the fest. Yeah, we're going to hang out. Probably you won't have the time to hang out, but we'll see.
No, I will. Trust me. If there's one thing I pride myself on is that everyone that comes, I make sure that they're happy they came, and I will give them the time that they deserve, not because I'm calculating it mathematically, but because I know the people that are close to me and that have been through this journey with me, and those are not people I'm going to leave hanging around in the concert. It's a communal experience, and that's how it's meant to be. I don't want it to be some random cold fest where you're just looking at the band.
We'll see.
Yeah, you can quote me on that.
I have the highest trust that it will work out perfectly. I'll see you. We'll talk sooner, but I'll see you in the flesh in February, in March.
Thank you for giving me the third opportunity to talk on your channel, man. It's
our opportunity. I didn't have to show anything physical, so it works out for both.
I'm going to clean up my table and rush. So thank you again, and we'll talk soon, man.
Perfect. I'm going to put on Earths and have a night.
Perfect. Have a good one, man.
Bye, man.